Which just for me.
It's like where you color your hair. I think they had a big recall though.
I have gray hair.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
Wait, are you coloring your hair because you don't
mustache?
have gray? Oh, what do you
have gray in your mustache?
Darker?
It's gonna make this that color. It'll be a little fuller and thicker looking.
What if it looks goofy?
It might, but then I'll have to shave it and be sad.
City Talk. City Talk.
Okay.
Welcome, everybody. This is number 18, Serial Talk Podcast. We started out talking about hair. I started this like 25 seconds ago.
Hey, we haven't put our thing in for a while. And it's...
Yeah, we have. We put it in the last one.
Every single one.
I didn't hear the last one.
Because that means you didn't listen to it.
I did.
I put it at a minute because I got you guys arguing at the beginning, and then I put it in
You
there
heard
after that.
do.
I like that. I like when we have it like
100,000%.
set in a little bit later.
Yeah, I do too.
It's nice.
Yeah, you didn't listen to it. Shut up. Get out of here.
Look, 15 minutes left. Quite a bit. Go look us up on iTunes,
Spotify.
YouTube,
I think that's it.
Instagram.
Oh yeah,
Spotify,
Instagram.
YouTube, Instagram.
We have a Twitter.
We don't.
No, we need to get a Twitter.
No, I don't think we do though.
I don't think
we
so.
don't need a Twitter.
The guy I listened to, the tech guru, said the Twitter's the
Is that
place,
Gary
man.
Vandershot?
But I don't think
No,
that's.
it wasn't. It was Hotep Jesus. He was on Joe Rogan. He was the one that talked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was wacky, bro.
I don't
He
think
was
really
something
wacky.
else.
I don't know. I just don't think. I don't know.
That smells good. Is that SpaghettiOs?
SpaghettiOs.
No, what is that?
That smells like SpaghettiOs.
Oh, that's the baked ziti.
Oh, very cool.
All right. What do you guys want to talk about first? I'm gonna look this up and make sure that it's in there.
How was your guys'?
Maybe it's not. Maybe
It's definitely not.
Farquhar big life change.
it 100%
Big life
is right here,
change.
dog.
What's wrong? Oh, he's trying to make a point.
What time?
A minute.
Dang! He's. Oh my gosh.
Blake would have had to taken it out if it's not on there because he got it from this directly.
This is bad radio.
It's 1 minute.
He must have taken it out.
It's not in there.
So you both right.
It's
and
we're
wrong.
both right.
I was right.
Well, so
That's a negative, Ghost Rider.
I remember he used to say that all the time.
I used to say it constantly. I don't know where I got it. Isn't that from like Top
you
Gun
Ghost
or
Rider?
something? No, it's not Ghost Rider. It's like from It was a code name for a pilot, I think.
We're all over right now, and I don't like it.
Farquhar, you had
always
a
all
big
over.
life change. We didn't
I
talk
had a
about
big
it?
life change. We
What'd
can
you
talk
do?
about it. I quit my job yesterday. Oh my gosh, I know. Big life change. It was so enabling.
How'd you quit? What'd you do? What'd you say?
So,
I want to hear about all the
yeah,
conversations.
I haven't really talked to Colt about it. No, I didn't talk about both of y'all because Austin
Oh,
called me and I
asking.
talked to him about it. But
I
so
know.
I've been thinking about it because my heart obviously is not in really staffing. I think I've been able to tell that for a while and just kind of like looking at it. But at work, I was frustrated by the way kind of like some of the managers have been to some of us recruiters. So I was, coming in after 4th of July, we had a nice little half-week break, and I thought, like, man, this week I think is going to be the week I'm going to be done. I already have something lined up for the fall, but I originally planned on quitting at the end of July. But my boss called me in on Tuesday and she said she's kind of getting mad at me for, like, not having a full week's expectation of activity, but it was
Explain
a half
that.
week.
What?
So we're supposed to talk to 30 people a week.
Okay.
And last week I only talked to 10 people a week. But I was there Monday through Wednesday and didn't have Thursday, Friday where I could have made that up. I was out of town. So she was kind of getting mad at me Tuesday morning, and straight up I was just kind of like, I don't think it's really working out right now. My heart's not all the way in this, and obviously it's kind of like not fair to you guys. It's not fair to me to be like halfway into this job and not committing halfway, and it's mentally draining for me to not have passion for it and working 55 hours a week. So I'm going to have to put in my notice. And so she's like, okay, I'm going to give you the day and just think about it. And we can kind of regroup at the end of the day. So at the end of the
Was
day,
she trying to like think about your decision, as in like think about if you really want to quit? Or
yeah. She just kind of like, I think she needed to get stuff lined up on her end too, to like make sure I could leave with no loose ends, this and that. So, but they also don't do 2 weeks notice. They do, if you give your notice, they'll pay you for the next 2 weeks, but they won't have you work it. So what I hear, so I don't know if I'm actually gonna get paid for the next 2 weeks. So I'm still getting that confirmed, but it ended up leaving at the end of the day. They don't have you say anything to anyone, so I like awkwardly walked out early, and everyone's like, "Where are you going?" I was like, I gotta go to class because you can't tell anyone." So
wait, why can't you tell anyone?
Why can't you tell?
So
anybody?
the reason to that is because they don't want you to have like control on the last thing you say to them or something weird.
Cole hates this place.
Yeah.
I hate this place so much, dude. What?
So they don't want you to have a hand in like saying anything bad or like cussing him out or something like that. You know what I mean? So it's the reason in the office. It's kind of the same. It's a business thing. What's his name? What's the guy that comes in and Michael Scott ends up quitting on? I forget his name in the office. But Michael Scott ends up trying to say something that the boss is like, nope. It's kind of the same reason. Like, apparently that's a big business thing.
It starts with a C, doesn't it?
Charles?
I
Yeah.
think, something
I think
like
it's
that.
Charles.
He
But
stopped after like he left anyway. So.
But anyway,
So
so
he's not gone.
Michael Scott left, started his own paper company, and he like he didn't
I
let
see
him
what you're saying.
he didn't let him say anything to the office whenever he left, and then someone snuck
But it's
back
like,
in.
what are they? You can do whatever you want.
So
You're
it's
done.
like-
just
so
walk
the
out and,
reason
I
he
guess for
gave-
the next 2 weeks, so you can get your pay. Otherwise,
Yeah.
they're like, no, you were disrespectful, inconsiderate. Now we're not giving you
Yeah.
money. But otherwise, what are they going to do?
So
You can
it
say
was
anything
that,
you want.
and then also the reason he gave me, which I was like, what? He he didn't even talk to me, which is kind of funny. The
Who?
DBO, Director of Business of Oklahoma, he was in our office too, and usually he goes in on like these meetings and like the finished meetings and gets feedback and stuff. But he didn't say a word to me the whole day because I quit in the morning or gave my notice in the morning, and then he was there all day, didn't say a word to me, didn't come into like my final like meeting, and I just ended
Was
up
he
leaving.
mad at you?
So, I
Or
don't
was he
know,
just
dude.
like-
It's Jason. You met
Yeah,
Jason.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what he was like. He didn't say anything to me.
What were you like when you were just sitting there? Were you just not doing ish?
No, I told him I was, and my boss was very like respectful of my decision. Afterwards, she was like ended up being cool and was like, whatever I can do to help you, it's awesome. Just as a manager, it was kind of like frustrating working under some stuff like that. But from that point on, she's like, whatever I can do to help you. I want, obviously want to keep being your friend, this and that. So it was totally
Everyone
fine.
want to be your friend. You're
But
an awful
but the other
person.
reason they don't allow you to say a word is because they said that they don't want. The reason they told me, which is like, this is some BS. They said they don't want you to say goodbye because they want the relationships to last. And I was like, what?
What?
I know.
I said, shut up.
I know. I was like, so if you want the relationships to last, like
You know that's not the reason.
I know.
Shut
So
up.
you told what Gavin, right? That's his name.
Garvin? No, I didn't tell
I
him.
keep
I thought
calling
he
Gavin,
knew,
too.
and I thought he brought me out to lunch because of that. But he just wanted lunch, and so it was awkward because I left and I got like a buttload of texts from all the people because no one expected it, to be honest. And
Really?
so they're like, what the heck? I told 2 people in the entire office, and then came back, and I was in class and I had like all these texts and calls, and they're like, why are you leaving? Oh my gosh! And so, I don't know. Sometimes I really wanted to know what they said because he had the word in saying why I was quitting, and so I guess I heard from one person that. They asked if I was like fully invested, and I said no. And I was like, "That's not what happened either."
Wait,
so,
no,
I don't know.
he said that. So him describing to the rest of your office said that we sat Mason down and we asked him if he was fully committed, and he said
One
no.
of the managers said this, yes, and said that they asked me if I was fully committed, and I said no, and which is funny because that's probably what I would have said anyways. But I was like, no, they didn't ask me. I was the one that brought it up. Like I'm the one that put my notice in.
Why would they twist that? That's
I
like
don't know.
propaganda. They're just
Yeah.
like trying to twist things into this.
Yeah.
So that sounds like Soviet Russia.
They didn't
like,
look.
that's what
They
it reminds me
didn't.
of.
They could have made it look worse. They did say that like we left on good good terms and stuff, so it's good. But it's good to be out of there and like. Not that it was a terrible job for the right person. For someone that's committed, it's awesome. But for someone who wants to do something else and isn't as committed, then it wasn't completely.
I see
It's
that.
not for him. So, but
I
yeah,
don't
man.
like how much control they had to have over everything.
Yeah, to this
Everything.
like one of my bosses texted me. I'm like, you literally can't tell me what to do. Like that's kind of like they're nice and everything, but like normally whenever they text me, I'm like, oh gosh, did I forget something? You know what I mean?
You get nervous.
So,
You get all
yeah.
that like.
And when they texted me, I was like, ha, this dude. You know what I mean? Like can't really say anything. So it's nice to have some freedom, and I feel like I actually have like time to like enable me to do what I want to do, and I'm excited for that for sure. So
Dope.
big life change.
Heck yeah.
That's cool.
Did I talk about me quitting my job?
No.
Yeah.
Well, on the pod, you mean?
On the pod.
Yeah. No.
Because this is my first time to officially.
We did this to like a week apart.
Yeah, I think it was less.
Because didn't I text you? I was like, "Yo, I'm about to leave this week," and Colt was like, "I just quit my."
So Colt, this was your
quit my 2 weeks in. So yesterday was my first day of not being at work.
Okay. And
So
what
2 weeks
what
ago.
job are we talking? Like, what is this again?
So I was a law clerk.
Okay.
And I won't say all names and stuff, but I was a law clerk, and basically that's just somebody who's around the office and does all the stuff that the attorney doesn't want to do.
Right.
And so it was an interesting job, but I was done. I felt like my place had a different feel. Well, I had a lot of flexibility. I could do a lot if I just asked for it because it was a very small firm. There's literally 3 people in it: me, secretary, and then the attorney. And so it was super tiny. But I think it was just ran extremely poorly, and me and the attorney butted heads all the time because he would expect certain things out of somebody who's never gone to law school that I thought was ridiculous. And so then get upset when things weren't done properly. And so I just told him.
He was very old school in his
very,
thinking,
very
right?
old school, everything. Like, yeah, I don't want to get too much into it, but he said a lot of stuff that I'm like, you don't say about his employees, and you don't have that mindset to employees anymore. It's just, that's not how things are run anymore.
Right, yeah.
You respect your employees, you see them as a certain way, and he just didn't. He saw them in a completely different light. So I straight up with him one day. I sat down and I said, hey, I can't work for you anymore. I like you as a person, but as a boss, you're just not for me. If you need examples, this is what's happening, but this is why it doesn't work. So that was it.
Feel good?
Without getting all the drama. Yeah, I feel great. 100% a great decision to do.
But
Bye.
Okay, and then
My wife's leaving.
Wife's leaving. You're still doing landscaping. You've done that for a minute now, haven't you?
Yeah, I've had landscaping forever, and it grew there over the summer. The summer's been the most lucrative I've had for landscaping. But with that being said, it's also the summer that you realize, oh man, landscaping kind of sucks sometimes.
But you've ever thought about having your own little company on that?
Well, that's one of the things that was that I was thinking about doing this summer. And then what I would do is I totally restructured it to where I'm not doing it. I would hire people to do it. So I would earn less, but I have to charge more at the same time because I wouldn't be the one not doing it. Because it sucks. It takes up a lot of time. And if you're out there by yourself, you might get a good chunk of it, but you don't get to. You also waste 10 hours.
What's an ideal crew size? 3, 4 guys, something like that?
It just depends the job. Like, I bid for one in front of a neighborhood the other day, and I think ideally 2 guys could finish it in like 5 hours.
Okay.
3 guys, less, 4 guys, you'd get done super quick.
But I mean, if you had a crew of 4, guys, you'd go around and have a lot of.
That's upwards. I don't know how much you'd have to charge each one. Like, I mean, if they're wanting to do minimum, that's great. But I would say at least I want to pay somebody $10 an hour. So that's $40 an hour. And so whatever you charge them for these 2 opening spots, that's not. If it takes them 3 hours, I mean, that's $120 off of what you did, plus all your costs to buy the equipment. Like, it's just, you just get into this hole of bills, and it kind of cuts into your profits.
Did you buy all the equipment yourself that you have so far?
All the equipment I have is borrowed.
Okay.
So I've just borrowed it and accumulated it over the years. Stuff that don't want anything, and it's like, okay, I'll take it. I'll use it.
So you have very little actual capital investment into it, though.
Yeah.
Well,
that's one of the good parts.
Yeah, it's great.
Is that technically, it's overall been profit.
Right.
All I've done is profit. Gas has been the only expense that continues, other than buying the stuff that I need per job.
And that's that's decently cheap. Gasoline and stuff is. And
I don't even think about it when I do these jobs because I get, literally, it would take a tops 10 gallons of gas for one day worth of work.
Right.
And that's out of that truck, so I mean, it's not that big of a deal.
Okay. And then school still. Everyone here is still in school.
We're just talking about our lives today.
I know.
We're just talking about our lives.
It was a rainier day.
I'm sleepy. So
I
I'm
asked
down
Colt
for it.
one time, would you ever move to LA if this podcast took off and like purely focus on like this kind of podcast work? No, I mean, not obviously you could have your side stuff too, but like, would you ever move for this kind of opportunity for like something like this?
If this thing was like Joe Rogan Experience, I'd definitely move. Yeah,
well, nothing's gonna be like that.
That's what I said too. I was like, if it was like a serious, like we're doing really great, making a lot of money.
That's the only one that I know that like he makes money. But he is also doing so many other things.
Yeah.
So I don't really know if there's money in podcasts. I mean, there might be, But I've never met someone that's like, yeah, I'm a podcaster. Like,
Yeah.
I make
You never
lists.
really hear
Yeah.
about anybody that's racking in the dough from podcasts.
But like,
either.
I mean, podcasts, because a lot of times, like some of the podcasts that I'll listen to,
Are off of
they're all business,
Yeah.
or they're all like they're attached to like a bar stool. Right?
Yeah.
They're already attached to a business. So I don't really
Or the
know.
Gary Vaynerchuk. You know, you guys know Gary Vaynerchuk? Just kidding.
you guys heard of him? Go look him up right now. He's my idol.
Cool. Would you? How like? I guess I've always thought, up until recently, maybe the last year or two, that you've always been someone that would want to like stay here. Like
Yeah.
That's
stay in
exactly what he
Oklahoma.
told me.
Is that still where? Is that still where you're at?
Yeah, I would prefer to stay here, but I mean, I'm not opposed to moving.
Because you've talked about Colorado several times that you would like.
I'd
in
move to
there.
Colorado.
Would you move
Is
to
that
LA?
Colorado. What?
Would you move to LA?
No.
See, I would.
For
I would.
Would you
fun?
move to New York?
What is the circumstance? Like,
This podcast takes off.
is
Is
it,
it-
would it take me to New York?
Yeah.
Like, it's got to be paying pretty dang
What
good.
does take off mean though? Like,
Yeah. Because if it's like you earn $10,000 a year, they say you can earn $15 if you go to New York. No, hell no.
Well,
I'm not doing
no,
that.
obviously,
But
but
that's what I mean. There's context.
Or even not just like the podcast, but just like a job opportunity that
yeah,
allows
there
you.
you go. What if someone your book, all right, the book you wrote, he's an author, takes off, and they're like, "Hey, we really need you to LA. You need to be in LA." Would
if I
you
saw a
move
good
to
reason
LA?
for it, yeah. Like that's what I mean. If there was something like that, then yeah.
Okay, here's another one. To make it like all a single variable, then if your housing and residential costs were only 15% of your income across the board, anywhere you would pick, would you stay here? It's all proportionate.
I see
right?
what you're saying.
So
Yeah,
if it's
yeah,
still
makes sense.
15%, would you move somewhere, or are you like this is your home body, like you're staying here? Would it matter at
That's
that
a
point?
good. See, that's a good question.
But now it comes to family for Colt. I feel like, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean you've got one
See,
coming.
that's the
too, so.
that's the thing is.
Oh,
I
Colt's
kinda-
having a
Colt's having
freaking girl.
I was
Oh,
right.
yeah.
We
by
didn't
the
even
way.
say that.
Barbara was wrong.
So I was right the week before, then I switched it up. I read all the signs too. So Colt, I came over like 2-3 days before, and I was like,
Let me tell you,
I was
because you sound like
testing,
you're
yes.
bragging because
Okay.
you did good.
Okay.
He was the only person that I've seen so far think about it very logically and got to the point and the spot that it was a girl and had good reasoning behind it too.
Were they all real reasons?
They were real reasons. Like he
Okay.
was like, because you said this and you just now said this, which indicates that you're more leaning towards the protectorate side rather than the leading side. And so it was an interesting what he said. Like it was smart. It was probably the smartest I've ever seen Farquhar be because I was like proud of him. I wanted to tell him like, "Hey, that's good job, bro,"
and
but I
I
couldn't.
switched it.
And then he
up.
switched it, and then he failed.
The
and
day
so-
of the day of the thing, I was like, I really want them to have a boy, and I realized how much I want them to have a boy, and so I was like, let's just go with boy. Let's just do it. And it ended up being.
That's low-key sad. My baby girl's gonna get here, and y'all gonna be like, "Hey, what's up? I don't really care."
Hey, we gotta
Whatever.
go. By the way, sorry.
Yeah, say sorry. Your baby
So
girl
you'll
is
talk-
here.
no, you're not allowed to be in it. You have,
Have fun with Trinity.
Yeah,
we'll see
whatever.
it.
Bye. Okay, to go back to your question.
Yeah, go back.
The only place I would possibly move,
Okay.
and that's because it's my favorite, is Colorado. Otherwise, I would stay here and move somewhere nearby town, but just the outskirts of it, where I kind of little like property and out in the country. That's the ideal
I
situation.
feel like Harwell is. I feel like he's similar in that.
Yeah.
Maybe not though. I mean, I'd like to ask him that because I always feel like he's more of a homebody, but
No,
I don't
for
really
sure.
know.
For Austin, I feel like is more than Colt.
Yeah, but
I like home.
I don't know.
I like home, but I don't know. Sometimes I'm totally down to do
Who's
other things.
who's the opposites in?
Galley's the most.
Oh, for
Yes,
sure.
he's on the other
You're
side.
a homebody. You and me, kind of growing up, we were the same. We talked
I think
about it a lot.
recently you've been different.
Recently, you've changed
you've
the
been,
most.
You've been
because
very
you've gone
much
to more
into
places.
looking more
He's
things.
gone to more places, and so
Yeah.
now he sees the world, and he's like, "Oh, I still kind of, I'd go do that." And you're
Right.
also single again, so you're like, you see adventure and going other places.
Yeah.
I see hassle. That's what I see, especially with like a baby coming. That's what's entrenched
That
me
makes
even
it-
more because I'm like, think about if anything happens, if we got to go do something, we have to hire
Right.
some stranger to come watch the baby, not call her parents, call
Yeah,
my
that's
parents,
true.
like that kind of thing. Also,
I feel like where you have
So
your
what
kid,
if
you
money?
stay.
So
Yeah,
what if
for a
money and family don't play a role?
so just like where would I like to live?
Yeah.
Colorado all day.
Just like recreationally speaking or something.
Right.
Just like,
Yeah, just Colorado.
I don't know
yeah.
why he laughed. I don't know why I laughed too.
You
Because
guys
I
always
thought
make it weird,
I
like,
was
I was
thinking
talking
of
about, like,
something else
mountains
that's
and stuff.
recreational.
Well, yeah. Well, it's also called, yeah. I would go to Colorado in a heartbeat.
The pure
yeah.
reason. Is,
yeah. Okay. And for what about you then?
where would I go
Yeah.
without? A lot of places right now. To be honest with you, I've never been to LA, which I really want to go to. You know what else is Oregon? I want to go back to the Northwest a lot.
Yeah. Portland area.
I've never been there.
I think you would like it. Don't you think you would like it?
Well, see, I loved Colorado, and then I went to Washington.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is
it's
better to me. Like
Really?
the Rockies are beautiful,
yeah.
but I think the Cascades are even more.
Because you get both ocean and
right.
mountain.
And you get that rainy time. I love rainy days and stuff
Yeah.
like that. It's like that.
We had a rainy day today.
It was a little rainy day. And except for going up to like 85 or 90 and humid here, it would just be like 74.
So I ideally would, during this time of life, would go live in New York for 5 years, and then start a
You've
family
upped that
elsewhere.
because you once just said earlier. You said 1 year. I'd go live in New York.
I would live there
I would
for
do
a
1 to
year.
2.
Yeah,
I mean,
But
you say
tops,
1, you never really
tops. I
live
would.
one.
The reason I went up is because I thought about it. I was like, if I actually had a career and like wanted to pursue something, the reason you really go to New York is really career based most of the time.
Right.
So
Yeah,
why
you're
would
not
I be
going
there
there
for
for,
a
like, living.
year? Yeah, unless it's like some internship. So, I think like 5 years max would be for me, and then ideally for me it'd be like go coach a football team in New York City and start some kind of like side thing, like some side thing up there, and then come back. And then whenever I decide to start a family, like maybe in Oklahoma, or I would consider Minnesota. Like I really don't want to say that because Galley, but
That's fake. Harbaugh told me that.
He sold me. He sold me on it. You know what I mean?
Harbaugh told me that.
You know what I mean?
A couple
That
times.
reminds me of the night we went out and Galley's like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Know what I mean?
He said
Harbaugh
that
told me
3
that too.
times.
He said that he was really looking into
What if we all
Minnesota.
are in Minnesota?
You know how happy I would be.
I know
know,
Galley.
I'd be pissed
off
Galley
just
would
because Galley would be happy.
he would
I'd
win
be-
in the end.
I know, that's
And
why I
you'd
would be like,
No,
I'd be the last one over here, and it's like the job's offering in Minnesota. Like I'd be like, no, I can't go.
your daughter would win
Why?
because it's rated the #1 state to raise a family
See?
for 4
He's
years.
selling
in
you
a row.
right
I
now.
know. He's done
He's
this. I
selling
was
you
on the
right
same
now.
page. I'm not sure if Austin was the one that told you, but I told you the same thing. I was like, I think about Minnesota too. You've had all your friends.
I could see Austin being in the same house for like 15 years, to be honest with you.
That I could see that too.
Yeah.
But I'm not. I think that he would be open to because I think only I'm thinking back because when he said like Minnesota, I think that okay, you would be looking at somewhere else to live. Like it's not impossible. The only thing with Minnesota is obviously like the winters everyone talks on.
Yeah, I would go in on an apartment with you and buy something in Brooklyn and then Airbnb.
Yeah,
out.
Brooklyn, Manhattan would be unbelievable.
Well, yeah.
Brooklyn,
But it's right there.
it's right there. You got the subways, everything
It's
like
right
that.
there.
You might be.
It's so close. Like all that's so close.
And that's the thing with so the problem that I have, like I like LA. Like LA is a cool city. It's a great like place to go, but it is where like New York is. It's massive, obviously, but it's condensed, and you have subways. And if you take the subway, you're getting somewhere quick.
Yeah,
it's not. You're not.
crazy.
It's not slow, unless you're driving, obviously.
Yeah.
But in LA, they don't have that. They've got some type of tunnel, like subway, but they don't have that mass transit that New York has, or really Boston has, or DC. Like they can't. They haven't.
Jeez, I need to go places.
So many reasons like that. They don't have mass transit. So if you're in LA and you're going from East Hollywood to downtown, or wherever you're going, it is a pain, or Inglewood, or what. I mean, it is such a. It's an hour and a half.
I've been to LA one time, and it took us forever.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. Is it's so big, it's like so vast that we were like, hey, let's go to like a bar, like club downtown. Okay, well we're in West Hollywood, so this is gonna be like a journey, and then you're not going back to a restaurant down over here either. You're going there and you're doing everything over there. So it turns into like wherever you're at, that's where your restaurants are, that's where your bars are. You don't venturing off too much. Whereas like a San Diego or a San Francisco are a lot different in those sizes. San Diego would be an amazing place to live. But other places like that in California, I feel like are super beautiful.
Is a
but
huge state. We don't give it
it
credit
is
for
so
how big it actually
big.
is. It
It's so
covers
vast.
basically the entire coast. Like it's just got that last Washington up at the top, but
In
it
Oregon,
covers so much land.
Yeah, I mean it's
Oregon.
unbelievably, and it has everything. It has desert and it has mountains and it has it has every biome basically that the U.S. has to offer. It has in it
Lava.
lava.
What do you think about the earthquakes of California?
Yo, so they're
When
pretty
is
crazy.
LA
So a lot
supposed
of
to break
people don't
apart?
understand
LA's supposed to
about
break apart, and
like
when is that gonna
earthquakes. So like my mom, she was when we were talking, because Emmy, who lives there now, she was texting us like, yeah, we had our it was like a 6.4 or something like that.
Jeez.
And it was big. It's like, wow, that's massive. And then the week next they had a 7.2 or something. And it's like most people don't realize is it's not like 1, 2, 3. It's not like linear like that. It's more like a cone. Like a 1 is the tip of the cone, and it spreads that way every time you have. It spreads outward. So it's a 7 is 33 times stronger than a 6. Like it's magnitude.
That's
like
okay.
it's a lot different. It's not like 7 is only
It's
2
not like
more
tornadoes,
than a 5.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like 7 is unbelievably stronger than a 5.
Oh.
Like unbelievably stronger. So you get up to like an 8. If it's an 8,
Because
that's
what
like
we get,
a city
like we
destroyer.
got here in Oklahoma or Tulsa, the ones we've had are like 3s and 4s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And we get a lot of 1s and 2s, but you don't feel them.
Right. Yeah. There's those are happening all the time, like microquakes, everything like that. But
Jeez.
and like a 7, that's creating all these aftershocks that'll keep going, like 100 of them. That aren't necessarily going to be big, but there's gonna. It's
And
just
can't
a
that turn
massive
into
amount of
like
land.
some crazy ocean stuff too?
Yeah,
Tsunamis
like the tsunami in Indonesia was caused by that killed like 280,000 people or something like that.
Jeez,
Was
can you
caused
imagine,
by like
man?
an 8.5 or
Just
8.8.
look up. What's that movie where Tom Holland's in? The
Spider-Man.
then it's like I can't remember. It's like it's about a tsunami. Is it at the church or at the movies for church?
I didn't see it.
Well, it's
Oh,
good.
the one with Ian McGregor in there too.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
forget he's in there too. Yeah.
I forgot what that name is called.
Love my guy Ewan.
Ewan? What is it? Ewan?
Ewan McGregor.
Huh. We'll
Our
take a
place is
shift
crazy.
about it. And speaking of Tom Holland, Colt, what did you think of Spider-Man?
I
Because
like
you saw it
Spider-Man.
last night.
I did. It's a good movie. I'm trying to figure out how good it is. It's a good movie. I really enjoyed it.
Because Farquhar really liked it.
You really like it.
Davis wasn't that big.
No,
Trinity
Davis
wasn't
just-
that
Trinity
big.
was in the middle of kind of you and I think I'm in the middle with her. Great movie. I really like how they did MJ. I like how they did the relationship between Spider-Man and MJ. Like those were my favorite parts.
Yeah.
The freaking visuals were awesome.
Yeah.
The visuals were really fun to watch.
Fighting was really good, I thought.
Fighting was good. There was a lot. I mean, I like the ideas that they had. I don't know how much I like the concept of the villain in this movie. The way that he did his stuff, I kind of like. I feel like there's holes. You could poke a lot of holes into it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like I feel that. Do you care if I talk about it?
Spoiler alert. No, I do
Spoiler
not
alert.
care.
Okay.
I
Are you
might
gonna
not.
even see it?
Might never see it.
Why'd
I
you
don't
say
know.
spoiler like that?
Because if we got... Is Jake Gyllenhaal the bad guy? I think he turns into the bad guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They alluded to that even in the trailer. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like
Not
they-
really.
No, I didn't see that. But
They call him
I
an
thought it
Avenger in the trailer.
he uses drones.
I just feel like
basically.
Jake Gyllenhaal isn't a good guy in things, though. Like, I
He's
don't
a
know.
good... I thought he was pretty good at the role, but go ahead.
I'm just thinking back to it. How did he originally do all his like visuals? You know how he's changing everything with drones there at the end.
Yeah.
How did he do it in the first place?
What
What
do
were
you
they
mean?
using to? Because at first he showed him like fighting everything and doing great. What was he using to project it out there? Because he used the drones later on to use their projectors to project it to everybody, the visuals that he wanted them to see.
Yeah.
What was he doing at the beginning?
That was still like the drones, but he had a more massive amount of them from...
He only had a few.
He only had a few at first because they all came from Stark
And I
Industries.
don't understand the science behind the drones. Like I'm trying to think about it. It doesn't make any sense to me.
What part of the drones?
All of them. Because how are they projecting anything?
Because they put something off them.
Well, how did it? Here's the thing. How did it affect Spider-Man to the point where he feels like he's falling down these endless tunnels? And I'm like, these are drones that literally have nothing behind them. Like, it's still reality. His reality wasn't shifting or changing. It was just the visuals.
Yeah.
So I didn't understand how they affected him to the extent that they did. I understood that, like, okay, the drones made themselves look like the elemental's fist when it was punching something, and that's how it broke apart.
Yeah.
But like when he's just like falling or he's like feeling weary and all those different things, I didn't understand.
Well, that's
how
the same thing.
drones
Like
were
you
used.
jump off something in VR, and it feels like you're jumping off of it.
I don't know. I just my suspension of disbelief was
You're
struggled
digging
right
very
there.
deeply into it.
I did because it was
It sounds so confusing for someone who hasn't seen it. Like, what tunnels?
It does.
So
Yeah.
you saw Civil War, right?
Yeah, I've seen
Okay.
it once.
You only seen it once.
Mhm.
It's very weird.
I've seen it 3 times maybe.
But
So I don't really remember really.
okay, so a lot of it branches off of Civil, which is kind of cool because that's Spider-Man's first movie in the MCU. So there's some parts of it that branch off of Civil War that come back, which is pretty cool.
Like what?
Like the projectiles, the projectors.
Was that in Civil War?
Yeah.
You
know the
wait,
part?
I think I know what you're talking about. Is that one of his dad?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the thing called Barb. You know, remember when it showed Tony Stark? So they worked. I'll just tell you, spoiler alert, like big time. They all worked under Tony Stark. So
Yeah, I knew that.
yeah, so they all worked under Tony
Who's
Stark.
they?
And he called the bar.
All
and
the
he
bad guys.
pissed
Mysterio
him
did.
off.
He
I
was
didn't- was
he
that
was
scene-
one. He was Tony Stark's one of his top like engineers.
Oh, is Tony Stark a bad guy now?
Tony
Is that, like,
Stark?
the thing?
No.
Is he like a bad? Okay.
No,
That'd be cool.
no, his employees. These are all so all the bad guys are a group of his employees that he fired or that hate him now.
Okay.
So, like, some of his top engineers, like, do you remember the first Iron Man when he's trying to build the thing? He's like, Tony Stark, build this in a cave, and, like, gets on to the engineer. That engineer's a bad guy now. So he pops
They
up,
brought that guy
and you're
back
like,
in?
oh my, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Many years
What?
later, it brings him back.
Okay,
and he's
MCU.
like, so he's the top engineer of
I want to
this
ask him
group.
a question, too.
And so the Jake Gyllenhaal is like one of the top engineers that created the barf, the virtual reality that puts it in front. So that's what the villain is at first, is just this stuff, and it's like
What's his
you're
name?
trying to figure it out. Mysterio is the bad guy's name, and so he creates a bad guy. So in the I love it so much. Like, this is why I love it, because it goes so much with just the story of comics, the video games, and everything. Is like Mysterio is a showman, and he always has been. And so that's why at first in the trailer I was kind of like, they're just kind of adding him as an Avenger. That's kind of weird. But they bring him in as a showman and make him look like the hero. So, God, I want you to see it so bad. But it's amazing. It goes really well with the comics.
So that scene where he's like on the phone and he's like, just call it barf or whatever he says.
Yeah.
Because I remember that. Was that actually in there?
It was actually in cinema.
What about that
Civil
scene
War.
where he's messing with the glasses?
Which scene?
When he's handing Spider-Man gets the glasses, and I think he maybe I'm getting things mixed up. I don't remember. Isn't there a scene about Tony Stark either making or forming Edith for Spider-Man, and he shows him like a quick video or something like that?
No.
No, that didn't happen.
No.
Let me see if I can find it.
I don't know what you're talking. I don't know. Maybe there is. I don't know. I mean, Tony Stark wore those glasses around Peter, but
Maybe that's what it was, and maybe it was a flashback or something. I can't remember. Dang it. Oh well.
he wore the glasses in the bar. Like, he was wearing the glasses in Barf. Whenever he's doing the virtual reality
Maybe
stuff,
that's what
he
it
took
was.
them
He
off.
took them off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking
Yeah.
of. That did that specific part happen?
Yeah.
In the other movie.
He actually had the glasses in Civil War.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
See, that's what
I don't think it was Edith. I
that's
think
what-
those glasses were specifically for the Barf project, which is the
I don't like that they
projectors.
named it that.
That's part of it too, because Jake Gyllenhaal was like, it's short for something, and
sure, yeah.
So he gets pissed off. He's like, he called my life's work Barf, and he's like pissed off.
gotcha.
Yeah, so he's mad at Tony Stark, and now that he's dead, he's like, this is a window for us to.
How many times have you
jump
seen
up.
this one?
Today will be my 5th time because I'm seeing it today too.
Bro,
Yeah, people keep asking me to go with
that's
them.
50 thick ones.
No, I haven't paid for half of them for a lot of them. So,
Okay, well that's like
30.
Still
11 hours,
$25, bro.
12 hours.
I'll buy a
probably?
a good video game for $25. I'll
That's
buy a
not true.
great one.
Yeah.
You won't do that.
100%.
I've asked you to buy games and you won't do it for $25. I don't believe that anymore. You
No,
buy these
I
weird
said
games
I
that nobody
could.
play.
I said I could.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm about to get mad about
That
that.
is
Okay,
true.
hold on. So you give your 1 to 10 on it.
7.5.
Ooh,
Literally.
a little down from what you thought earlier.
Yeah.
What was it earlier?
I had it at 8.5. Last night I had
What?
8.5.
How do you drop like a whole point? I don't understand where you're like don't like it at. Like what do you not?
I think yours is an exaggeration of how good it is. I don't dislike it at all.
It's not an exaggeration.
7.5 is not a
It
bad movie. That's a good movie.
That's a good movie.
That's a good watchable.
that's a-
like,
But this
you
isn't
turn it
just
on,
a
it's
good movie. This is a
That's
top
what
4
I'm
Marvel
saying.
movie.
See,
That's
he
what
gets
I'm
crazy.
saying,
That's
right
why it's
there.
hard. I can't I want to know these scores, but I want them unbiased. When you say it's a top 4,
No,
I'm like maybe it's
I
top
think
4 for
it's
someone
it's a
there
top
knows
4. It's a
everything
top
about
4 for
Marvel.
someone that's behind Spider-Man and loves Spider-Man. It's
Okay.
this is like what Spider-Man fans have been.
So is that a normal
looking
score
for.
for like a average superhero?
I don't
fan
know.
Like
I
myself?
honestly couldn't tell you. Me and Cade, and that's the people. Everyone else that I've seen it with has loved it. I never asked for the ratings.
What's
It's
your
something I
rating?
need to more.
Because I would say I
Ratings
love
are
it.
the
I
only
said
one.
I
Yeah.
love it, but I'm not going to give it. I don't think it's worth an 8.5.
8 is very good.
8's very good.
Yeah.
9 is
7
top-
is
top
good.
5
9
movies
is
ever.
mine.
So 7.5.
You're saying it's a
because
9.
Yeah.
9 what?
I was gonna say like 9.2, but it also I'm trying to think of stuff about.
So this
you know what
isn't even like an 8.8 for you. This is literally
this is-
god tier.
I love this.
This is
movie.
one of the top 10
It's
movies of all time
legendary.
for you.
This is top 10 movies of all time for me. Yes, I'm not like like it's just everything I've wanted in Spider-Man.
Okay, I can
Listen,
see it,
okay,
I see it.
Spider-Man
Okay.
fan. I grew up. Tobey Maguire was great. The series is pretty good.
Chill.
Okay,
All right.
okay. But
Spider-Man 3?
then as you grow up, you realize okay, this trilogy is kind of like whack.
When he was
you know
like
what I mean?
walking through the streets.
Yes,
and he
okay,
like,
that was
dancing.
Spider-Man 3. That we don't really
Jesus.
count that,
You
but
have to. It's a trilogy.
and then waiting for this long into like Andrew Garfield living that out.
Oh, he was so
Homecoming was
bad.
just kind of like like it's good, but it's not like anything. It's like, yeah. And then this one where it's like Spider-Man's the hero. He doesn't need Iron Man. He comes in with a super cool villain that is the villain lives up to what he is.
I don't like the villain. I think that's part of the problem that it's so low for me that I lowered it because the more and more I think about it, and I thought about this last night, is I just don't like Mysterio's concept. I don't understand it. And that's what pisses me off.
You don't like his concept of what?
Of the way that he does his villainness. The way he's a bad guy.
Okay, so how does Tony Stark be a good guy? Like, you're thinking too much into...
No,
you talking about, like, the technology?
I don't like the fact that he's projecting from drones. That doesn't make any sense. I don't understand how he's creating these, what looks like this alternate reality out of these projecting of drones. You say VR, well, that encompasses your entire head. That makes sense. When I have a screen in front of me, because that's the very minimum that they could produce. Yeah. No, there's no way that Spider-Man is getting knocked all around, not understanding what's going on.
Do you not see that the drones...
On the inside?
But the drones are weaponized, too.
Okay.
So these drones, whenever it's something like is punching something, the drone is sending off like a shockwave.
I understand that.
Okay.
Look on the other side of it, though.
Okay.
So if there's a scene in the movie Galley where he looks like... You've seen like Alice in Wonderland where like fall down the rabbit holes, all this crazy stuff going around you. Yeah. There's a scene in the movie where he does that. Okay? My head
Great scene.
Says, okay, the outside of that are drones projecting in.
Right.
Okay? So why isn't somebody seeing the drones on the outside say, oh, that's not actually happening? Spider-Man's getting all these lights flashed at him.
Is it like a 360
Because
view?
they're in the middle of nowhere. What do you mean?
At any point during this entire movie, there's parts of it where he's fighting him in the freaking city. And he's like, Spider-Man, you know what's going on. He's on like a freaking bridge, and it's happening to him again, where it's all surrounding him, and he's like, use my Spidey tingle, or Peter tingle, and I'll get to it.
Does he say Peter
It's
tingle?
a joke throughout the movie that it's not Spidey sense, it's Peter tingle.
So why does someone need to see that, though? People see the drones. At the end, they go... look at all the drones.
But I feel like there's been plenty of opportunities throughout that.
But they're also invisible. Do you not see where the drones are invisible too?
They were invisible.
That makes sense?
They could go invisible. I thought the invisibility was part of the projection, though.
No, the invisibility is like, okay, going dark, and you see that's the big part of the testing. Whenever the villains are all like scheming up the next like show, is okay going invisible, and they go invisible, and then he goes, all right, lose the cloak, and they come back. It's just like the Avengers ship that's in the air, and underneath it, they have the technology where these are top scientists. These aren't like just people that can control drones now. They're people like top scientists that have controlled stuff for Stark Industries, like big time stuff.
Even with that, I still don't like the idea that everything that he's doing is a projection from these drones.
I agree. I haven't seen
even with that does help your case a lot because I forgot about that fact. But even with that, I still feel like the projection, alternating reality, and making it seem as if reality's changed, don't feel like that's a big enough... I just don't like it.
It's like in Iron Man 3 when the bad guy wasn't like...
You don't think it's really good enough?
You were saying that it's an awesome villain. I do not think that makes an awesome villain.
It's better than that.
He's still a bad guy. He's not like a...
He's a bad guy.
That made me mad because I wanted the bad guy in Iron Man 3 to be like the bad guy.
That guy was a bad...
It's not that bad. Iron Man 3, what was he? Nothing.
He was he was like an actor. It was just in this
exactly.
Movie.
I mean, it's similar in the sense of the actors or whatever, but
the bad guy's still the bad guy.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just saying, I don't think he's a great villain. I didn't love him like, oh my gosh, this is a great villain because he said this.
I don't think he's Killmonger level or Joker level. He's a great villain.
I don't think he's a great villain.
Killmonger and Joker and Thanos are up here.
I think he's a fine villain.
Mysterio or like he's above average.
Okay, is 5
the
average?
Dark Elves are down here.
Is 5 average?
Yeah, Mysterio's a 7.
What about
if Joker is a 10, Thanos and Killmonger are 9.
See, I'd give just because you're vouching for him as much, I might give him a 6. Mysterio.
What about like the guy with the whip in Iron Man 2?
I told you why. I don't like his stuff.
I think he's like a 4.
Yeah, I don't like that
guy.
Who
did you say?
The guy with the whip in Iron Man 2.
What about
for sure? For sure.
Well, the metal arm guy. What's his name?
Bucky?
Yeah, Bucky.
Well, I like him as a villain.
Bad guy.
Yeah,
Right?
I would say he's like a 7 to 8.
Okay.
For me.
I don't know. I don't remember the Civil War. I'd say like a 6
plot line. I like his whole plot line.
Yeah.
That's why
I like him, but I also didn't like that he was like a good guy.
You only saw Winter Soldier once, so.
Yeah.
I only saw it once. So
y'all gotta see it again. That's in my top 8.
See, I've only seen parts of Captain America, the first Captain America.
That's okay.
Seen the whole thing.
That's okay.
Okay, it probably make me not like
No.
it. What about the big
You know what makes me mad about Captain
Abominable
America?
Hulk.
I hate how much he likes freaking what's her face. I
His girl?
can't believe yeah.
What you mean? It's his girl.
Think about it.
Okay.
You see Captain America 1. This girl's kind of a jerk to him at first until he gets huge.
Yes.
So then the girl starts liking him,
the other day.
and it's a period of like 3, maybe 8 months of the time they're at war, and then he dies. So why does he have like a lifelong crush on her?
That's true.
It pisses me off.
He's kind of creepy for that.
Yeah.
I
He was about to defend him. We
I
want to get that
was.
topic real quick?
Nope.
Like I was so excited for him to see Peggy, but then as you think about it, I'm like,
old
this
lady
is
name.
stupid.
Hey,
You know
what
I mean?
about this? All right, so in Infinity War, he goes back in time, right? And he goes,
In Endgame?
yeah, he goes back in time, and he has like a whole life with her.
Yeah.
So he's not like telling her about like what's about to happen. I
Yeah,
saw like
there's a lot of jokes
YouTube
about
thing
that.
on that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like 9/11. Like,
Yeah.
hey,
And
let's
then
go to
Captain
New York
America
on,
just sits
on
there.
September 9th. He's just like, like that'd be weird. Like,
Yeah.
and he had to live through all the same events, right?
So
thought he was-
doesn't that, like, make
Kevin
Captain America not happen?
Feige mentioned that all the stuff with Captain America, how it might mess up the timeline, will be answered in the next movies. So he said that it will be answered, and that he understands that
I
there
kind
are
of wish
some
he could just go on his own and just a happy fairy tale.
Yeah.
But at the
I
same
could
time,
also
it
see
wouldn't
to
make
where-
sense because then Captain America wouldn't be he wouldn't have done anything he's done. So then Bucky would still be a bad guy, and everything that Captain America's done.
There's
wouldn't
two
have
different
happened.
Captain Americas in this timeline now that he goes and lives in.
Oh jeez, so yeah.
So he just sits
So that
there
was
as
a
another
question that I
Captain
had.
America.
I thought he had to go to a different timeline. I didn't think
He
he could
did.
go back in time.
No, he did. And so the question a lot of people have is like, why is he just sitting there?
He shouldn't
didn't-
even be in this timeline
So what
anymore.
I understand is that he comes back, but comes back in a different spot. So I
then
don't know
where's the
why
normal?
he's just sitting
Where's
there.
the normal Captain America then in this timeline? Where's he at?
He
And
doesn't
which time?
exist
Original
anymore
one?
because technically he should have left this timeline to go to another one where there's 2 of them in this timeline over here.
But then this guy that comes back to the normal timeline just comes back at a different spot.
So okay,
It's not where the Hulk.
let's play this out. You got
Radio
You got
coming
this
up.
timeline right here. Okay,
Yeah.
Captain
Two
America.
Which one's
Joe
ours?
Cap-
Which one's
This one's ours.
normal one?
2
Okay.
fingers. Yep.
So this guy said, "I'm gonna go back and hang out with what's her face." So he jumps over here.
Well,
to the timeline.
at first he said, "I'm gonna go return the Infinity Stone." So he's went back to
okay, I'm
these.
not coming back.
Okay.
He decides
Yeah.
not to come back.
So he decides
Okay?
not to come
so
back.
this world has 2 Captain Americas.
Yes.
This one over here now currently has none.
Zero.
During this date. Okay?
0.
So same dates now. He decides, okay, I'm gonna jump back.
Yes.
Let's say Peggy dies. That's why he's like, okay, I'm gonna go back now. Jumps back,
Yes.
and he just jumps back. I guess a couple days earlier, and then just walks over to this park and sits down.
Yes.
Okay.
Which
I
is
could
you
dig
know
that.
what else though? Captain America ages slower.
I could
so
dig that.
they've mentioned that in Captain America 1 that he ages slower and he can't get drunk.
So,
he
if these are the years-
might be way up here.
It could be year
He
3000.
could live
there.
way because he doesn't age quick. He ages
Did they only have
very
one bottle
slow.
of that serum, or like what happened with that?
So
Why didn't they
He
get
also
the
he had to
scientist
wait his
that
entire life to use it. Like keep track of it. That's scary.
the scientist that died is the only person that knew how to make it. The reason Hulk became Hulk is because they said that he was trying to clone that. And so that in the MCU, it's been like a sly thing that Nick Fury said, or someone said he was trying to cloak what you had whenever he's talking to Captain America about the Hulk. He's trying to cloak that and ended up becoming the Hulk.
I never saw the Hulk movie. Like
Which one's the real one?
The rich one,
Is it Eric Bana or is it the other guy?
it's the latest one.
So is that
So
Edward Norton?
you know Tony Stark's in the end credits of the right one. Like
So
he
is that
comes
the Edward
in.
Norton
is that
one?
the Incredible Hulk or the
It's
Hulk?
the. Let me see the pictures.
I think
can
it's
tell you.
Edward Norton.
I want to say it's this one, the Incredible Hulk. So it's not Hulk.
Is
it's
that the one with
Incredible Hulk.
the big bad Hulk? The
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't remember the bad guy in the other one. Was it just
The bad
people?
guy and the other one are just people, and he was like the bad guy. So
Who was Hulk in this?
I don't
It
know.
was-
I think it's
What's
Edward
his
Norton or
face?
Eric Bana.
But the what's his face in Civil War, the
Edward
secretary
Norton.
Okay, so it's
secretary
that one.
is in that one. He's like one of the bad guys too.
Yeah, he's the general or
Yeah.
something.
That's why I didn't relate it because I've actually seen this one.
and
Just
his
kidding.
daughter is that
but
chick.
because
Yeah.
it's not what's his
Which
face.
is funny because that daughter lives somewhere. Like she's alive.
Yeah, and like her and Hulk have like he loves her
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
But now he loves that one redhead girl.
Gender Thunderbolt Ross.
Oh, hey, quick question about. I wanted to ask because you mentioned something about at the movies. So cool. You being work there and everything. I mean, you probably know too
This
far.
is about Life Church.
Yeah, it's about Life Church. They have a thing called At the Movies, which is they show like clips of all these different movies, and they have really amazing props. amazing over the top props, and they have these clips, and it has like they go back into biblical meaning and stuff like that on it too, right? That's a pretty decent synopsis. So
of the movies, not the props. The
right,
props are
yeah,
literally
the props
just
are just
whatever.
there, but they're
Yeah.
cool looking.
Yeah.
So how does that work though? I was driving by and I see, is this the South Tulsa one?
This is
So-
South Broken Arrow.
South Broken Arrow. So it has like a big Jurassic World entrance thing on it. It says a
Yeah.
huge Jurassic World. So does Life Church have to buy rights or licensing for all these movies and
So,
props and all that kind of stuff?
Life Church has an entire legal team on staff.
Okay.
And a lot of one of their jobs was to make sure this is legal
Okay.
to do. I think the props and the different setups like that's completely legal. I don't think you have to do anything. I don't think there's any copyrights.
So you can have
And
something that
because-
says Jurassic Park
yes,
like
and
that.
because
it
we're
doesn't
not
matter.
selling anything that has to relate to it, there is no copyright. Like there's no problems there, I believe. Now
Okay.
the movies. So the only stipulation I know about when we talk about these movies and they show clips of it is that they can't archive it anywhere. So like if you have to go to the campuses, watch it live.
I see.
Such as if there's a community center around town that's like, hey, we're watching Iron Man today, come and just hang out. It's as legal as that. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
So there's really not too many like legalities.
From my
that have to do with
understanding,
it. Okay.
my limited knowledge of the situation.
That's fair. That's
what
more
have.
than I would know because I was just driving. I was like, did they have to like pay Warner Brothers or whoever
No.
for these rights?
But if they were getting money for someone to come in, they probably would.
Yeah, I think if
Could-
they were like,
would that be on a
taking these-
legal team? Or
What?
like, would that be something that the legal team would have to think about? Like, Warner Brother could come and be like, "Hey, we're seeing you guys' attendance is spiking 48% every time you guys have at the movies. You're getting X amount of dollars in donations and stuff from that. More people are buying, whatever. Maybe not. I don't think you buy anything at Life Church, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like the attendance and things, which is in a sense money as well, rising.
Mm-hmm.
Do we need a cut? Like they could theoretically say that.
I'm
and then
sure.
that's where
I don't
the-
know.
I'm
That's
sure
where
they'd
the
have to
legal
think on
team
that.
has to handle that. I mean, I'm
Interesting.
sure they've thought through that. I'm sure they have stipulations, and I'm sure they've done.
I
certain
wonder
things
if
to make sure it
as
doesn't
Life
happen.
Church continues to grow, it might become a more
and
topic.
if it's more prominent in other places, because right now nobody's
Right.
thinking about Tulsa, Oklahoma,
Exact- right.
or the other 6 states that Life Church is in. But if you get to a place where it's like, Los Angeles, and what happens there, and one of the other producers shows up, hey, I went to this church the other day, and it had this. That's kind of crazy. Should we do something? That may be a
Okay.
problem.
I see.
So who knows? I have no idea. I know that they don't, because they have church online, so they broadcast it all over the world, but they're not. I don't think they broadcast the movies.
That would make
You can't-
sense.
You can't.
That's why it's like, oh, it's
broadcast
at the movies. We got to go to that to movies.
You have to
type
go
of
to
thing.
the campuses.
Okay.
And the reason they do it in July is because July, for any church everywhere, July is the worst attended month. You
Everyone's on
that's
vacation.
why Transformation is doing the kind of cool thing that they're doing now is to like go to other churches. For one, because they're like, we're not getting anybody. There's no reason to do it. And
Right.
two, it's to help the other churches build up their numbers. So the dedicated people that still go in July will go to other churches, help their numbers. So,
Right. Yeah, like Pastor Mike's gone this whole month. Like,
it's a good what they're doing. I thought was really cool because it helps the other churches. It also helps them by like we don't have to worry about it. We can go do other stuff.
right.
But yeah, that's the synopsis of what.
Okay, cool.
After
Yeah,
movies is
I wanted to know about that. It was kind of.
I loved MJ in Spider-Man.
See, that was one
I'm
of my
just thinking
favorite
of that.
things.
I'm sorry.
MJ, you really like this movie too much. This
No,
is
I
the first
didn't.
thing I
Get
think
out of
you've
here.
liked too much. Yeah, dude. This is the first thing. He's got a screenshot of MJ and Spider-Man on his.
It's like
Who
you.
doesn't?
It's. I feel like
You
you,
like
were
it
born
too.
8 years too early.
You fought.
I really do think
It's
you're
a
born
good way
too
to
early.
This is
describe
why
me.
I know you
It's a
like it
great
too
way
much.
to
I
describe
talked
me.
about how I didn't like the villain that much. Not that I didn't like
Bro,
him,
that
but I
pisses
had a
me
problem
off,
with
bro.
him.
I'll
And
fight
it
you.
pisses. He
I'll
fought
fight
me
you.
hard.
Yeah,
didn't
he's
he?
mad. He's
He was
mad.
just like, why? It doesn't make any sense. First off, I'm sure there's no logic behind any of it. Period. So you could poke holes in it all day long.
Yeah,
but it
this
just
man-
wasn't that cool.
But this is the only reason you say you didn't like it is because of the logic.
No,
behind it.
this is the reason I dropped it from 8.5 to 7.5, which is still a good movie.
It's not
still
a
a good
7.5.
A 7.5 is a good movie, dude. All
say,
What do
day.
you think
move
I
it
would
back,
give it when
move
I
it back
would
to
go?
8.
What would,
No.
what would I give it?
I'm
See,
not gonna change
here's
my
the thing.
opinion because you get
My
mad
thing
at
with
me.
you is I almost lost hope with you because of how much I talk about it. It's like him, and now you're just gonna like lower it just because you're like.
I'm worried
it's
that I
ridiculous.
would.
Yeah,
But at the
You
same
would.
time, I like
100%
Marvel
you would.
movies.
If you would
I
have saw it,
think
you're
out
like,
of all the
I like Marvel
Spider-Mans, you would appreciate this
I
one.
No, I
guarantee
think you
I would
would-
like this new Spider-Man
Yeah.
because I like him in the movies he's been in.
Yeah, Tom
I
Holland's
think
good.
I would like
Tom
his
Holland's
movie
good.
standalones, obviously a billion times more than the old ones.
Zendaya does a good job too because
like
she's
her.
not.
For sure, these are way
She's
better
not
than
that
the
weird
ones.
lady. What's her name? in the first
Zendaya
one?
is not. Oh, I know what you're talking.
I don't know what's her name.
The first MJ, I didn't like.
I don't know.
I
Yeah,
want
she
her
was
to
really
die.
weird.
She's not happy.
She was really
Her
weird.
scream just me like, nah, maybe she should let it go. But Zendaya does a good job because that's like not
Zendaya's
her.
dope.
You know what I mean?
She does a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Like, that their relationship was my favorite part.
Yeah.
Like,
they make it very high school.
I said that was my favorite part of the movie because it was good, man. You just feel for him, and it's like it's awkward, but it's not overly awkward that you're embarrassed. It's just like this is just fun and nice. Because some of the other ones they're cringy.
I don't. Maybe we're
This
not fair to
isn't
you
cringy.
though, because whenever you get super excited about a movie, I feel like we don't take it either seriously or we like go opposite.
You don't.
Because we were all like this when you were all about that singing movie with Hugh Jackman and Zendaya. What was that
I
called?
love that
He loves
movie,
them.
too.
It's The Greatest Showman.
I
The
love
Greatest
that
Showman.
movie.
But you loved that movie.
It's
so,
a great
like,
movie.
You get movies and you love them.
Yes. But that's what movies are for. Is for
They
you to
are,
love
and that's what
them.
I'm saying. Like,
But
I'm
you
saying,
don't
like,
do
I don't
that.
Think because I've had that. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm like reserved now. It's like I've had the movies that I've loved so much that now I'm just like I haven't found a movie recently that I've been like,
Movies
oh my God,
recently
I love
are
this.
killing a lot of old movies.
I get it, but-
destroying them.
For sure.
Infinity War was the last movie, and it's like the most recent movie that I'm like, this is like one of my favorite movies.
So you
ever.
only like clinch onto stuff every like 5 years, or
maybe
like, what?
I don't know, and
Fuck,
I don't
you
think
do
I like
it
that
a lot,
Yeah.
but like this one makes me mad with how much you've done it for this.
Why?
Okay, I guess what I was
don't
trying to say was
understand.
in your top.
Specifically,
But
this one
I
you've
was
gotten
this
insane.
hyped over Endgame too.
Okay, hold on, but I think what I was trying to get at is in your top.
Yes,
10,
I was.
Not after.
What are you talking about?
He was
Up
no,
to-
he was.
I
Up
was.
to you were crazy. After how many times did you see that movie?
Endgame.
I had to sit next to
5.
this man in the
5?
premiere, and he was, oh my God. But okay, in your top 10, how
he
many
did say
movies would
Ivy.
be
I
in the
felt bad
last?
for
How many
Galley.
movies would be in the last 5 or 10 years in your top 10 or 15?
That is tough because movies now are blowing a lot of movies out.
But that's where I
like
think it's
some
different.
only
Is
beat
my
the
top 10,
classics
I
of-
think only 1 or maybe 2 would be in the last 10 years. Most of my favorite movies were earlier 2000s.
So we're
when
very
I was
similar.
growing
Like
up.
I like Remember the Titans will be my top 10 for
Okay,
sure.
yeah.
Saving Private Ryan. I don't think I clinch onto it as much as you do, but
Well, no, yeah,
I
it's
love
like
that
my favorite
movie,
movie,
and I think
so.
it's top for me.
It's a great movie.
Older movies,
I haven't seen that movie
Back to the
forever.
Future. That's top one for me.
Okay,
I
that
don't-
wouldn't be for me.
I don't talk about it as much, but like
You should. I would love
I've
to see
always-
your list. Maybe we should
Okay,
do that as
we
a
should,
homework.
yeah.
We should have.
Homework.
yeah.
We
Did you want
should
to talk
have our
about
list.
something last week too that we totally were like, nah, let's not talk.
No, we don't have enough time. No, we'll do
Well,
it
I know,
later.
but what did you?
We
what
did.
was it?
Well,
So
I don't
we can
really
just
care about it as much now.
we can just say it for next week.
Well, okay, so I'll be gone the next 3 weeks
Oh my
for
gosh.
AT.
So we'll talk about it in a month.
AT.
Yeah, annual training for the military.
Oh,
Oh.
It'll be
I forgot you were part of that.
July 17th through August 4th.
We love the military.
No, I was
Take Colts
doing, I was
boom. I don't
doing
like
galley
military that much.
specifically.
Well, good. What are we at?
We're at 50 minutes, 51.
Oh,
We can be done.
I don't care. Anything else, Farquhar?
I'm good.
Where do you think Russell's going? Russell Westbrook.
Oh yeah, talk about that real quick because I know you wanted to.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know where he's going. I think he's going. I think he's leaving. I think it's
Yeah,
funny
he's
how
going.
people can dig in, especially Instagram, because like someone will post a picture about him in a Miami jersey and he'll like it, and it's funny. Like,
Did he? He liked
yeah,
it?
he liked
Shit.
it. Yeah, I know.
I was
So-
hoping he was going to the Minnesota.
I
he still
would be
might.
for it too.
He still might.
but-
There's been rumors on that, and Minnesota's the only one that can really give the Thunder anything worthwhile because Miami already gave 2 of their top first-round draft picks to Minnesota for Jimmy
yeah.
Butler. So we have those picks that we could then give to the Thunder,
Yeah.
which would be protected. And if the Miami Heat don't have Russell Westbrook, those value on those picks will be a lot better. They won't win as much.
Like for the Thunder, if we do, which we will,
We will.
if we lose Russell,
Yep.
what? Like, how do you market a team next year?
Well, I think it'll be very difficult for us to fill any type of seats.
But who's our? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Who's
Yeah,
our
it'll be-
guy?
Well, it'd be Steven, I guess. Steven would be the most well-known guy.
That's just
And then you
tough
got
for a
Nerlens
franchise to
and-
go through. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's a complete rebuild. You know, it's one of those, and we haven't had to do it yet. We've been pretty lucky that since 2008, we've always had a superstar in
Yeah.
the league.
Yeah.
So, you know, and most teams don't have that. I mean, that's 11 years. But then again, that's 11 years with really nothing to show for it. It's a lot of first-round exits.
Who would you want to be your superstar at OKC?
Oh, I mean, like in a perfect world, I'd say Giannis. Giannis is a guy who's, you know, he
Yeah.
does his thing on his own. He just great leader. You don't need a lot of pieces around. I mean, you just need shooters and some good defending around him. He's not a guy that's a diva. He's great in a small market. He's up in Milwaukee now.
So I wore a freaking Paul George jersey the day he left.
Yeah,
a jersey
that's
shirt.
not a good look. That's for sure.
I know. I
not a
posted
good
it,
look.
and probably 3 hours later, they announced it, and I was like, "Oh shoot!"
And that was insane because Kawhi.
Yeah.
It was immediate. Kawhi
Yes.
makes the groundbreaking decision to go to LA, and then the Clippers of all, not even Lakers. And then, like 2 minutes later, breaking Paul George
I
traded.
know. Yes.
And that's the thing. Like, you can't get mad at. like, people will, but whenever Russ leaves, because Russ wants to get out too, people are going to be super mad at him and everything like that. Like, man, this guy went through us trading James Harden to losing Kevin Durant. He signs a deal to stay. He doesn't know if we're going to do anything for him. We go out, we get Paul George. It doesn't really work out. And the problem with that too is, I mean, if you're him,
it worked out.
Well, here's the thing. So if you're the Thunder, if you're Sam Presti, and if you're Russell, you're looking at last year, right? Last year, Russell still averaged a triple-double. Great year for him. Paul George was finished top 3 in MVP. He had a career year.
Yeah.
And we had a first-round exit. Like, we had 2 superstars that played very well, and we were out in the first round. Like, you're not going anywhere with 2 guys in the West. You're just not. Not right now. Not in today's league, especially with all the movement.
Yeah.
So, Paul George is looking at it like, I can go do something here. I could be a title contender with Kawhi and the Clippers. So he does that, and then now Russell, if he leaves when he does, I hope we don't see anybody burning jerseys, everything like that, because he's given everything he could for us.
If he does,
we just wanted to trade anyway. We
if
gave
he
away
does
Paul
stay,
George for 5.
if he does stay, that man will be like the face of the
He already is. I mean, he already is.
Yeah.
He's all we've got, and he should be complete. He should be a treasure here.
You think that would be a reason for him to stay? Is because he'll know that he'll be like, if I stay, I'm going to be a legend.
Well,
I think he's already realized he is.
The problem with that though is he's always gonna. I think any other player it'd be a little different because with Russell Westbrook, the only issue is he's always going to be looked at as like a think for himself type ball hogging guy, and I don't think that he likes that necessarily. I don't think he likes being thought of as a toxin. All he heard when Kevin Durant left is it was his fault. And all he's going to hear because Paul George left, it was his fault. That's what the narrative is going to be. Oh,
he's
Russell
gotten a better rep.
He's gotten better.
KD.
Yeah, I mean, he got destroyed when KD
I'm
left.
saying a lot of people on Twitter, at least, the talk has been like, I understand if you're leaving.
And that's what's great. That's what it should be because he's done so much.
Is it true that he's made those people leave? Like
No,
Durant
I don't
leave?
believe so. I don't think
George?
that. No, I mean he's a very he's a different type of athlete.
What
He's
makes
one
you think that it
is
wasn't
one of
him?
one. Really, he's one of one athlete right now. He's probably the best athlete.
That's
in
just
sports.
fan talk.
That's just
my
people
opinion.
wanting to get mad
Yeah.
at
It's
somebody.
it's people behind a mic that have a studio or something just talking.
And each of them had reason to leave.
Other than
than
somebody getting mad at
that,
him.
yeah. I mean, KD. I mean, you get mad at KD, but you understand why you would want to go.
He did his
live
thing,
in
and now
Golden
he's going to
State
Brooklyn, and he's going to do his thing
With the
there.
team that
I mean, he's a
just
top
won, like-
5 player of all time, so he's definitely
Of all
different.
time?
He'll get there. He's already top 10 for sure.
Durant or who?
Yeah,
Oh.
he's already top like 10 in every stat.
Wow.
Yeah, he's very much propelled himself. He's been in for 12 years now. We got
That's
drafted
why I'm
to the
kind of like,
Sonics
I don't know.
2007, I think. And then we moved here, so yeah, he's a 2-time Finals MVP, 2-time Finals, obviously champion, MVP, scoring leader. He's only 32 or something, I think 30, 32, 31. He's got obviously an Achilles, which is a big deal nowadays, but it was a bigger deal back in the early time when you didn't really have the type of rehab we had. So we'll see, but either way, there's some front runners with Russell, and for me, obviously being a Timberwolves fan, we missed on D'Angelo Russell. I talked about that on the pod, how I was super excited for him. All the rumors pointed that we would get him. We didn't. We were just kind of sitting there. So if Russell, if they were able to make a deal, maybe an Andrew Wiggins, Josh Okogie, a couple first-round picks for the Thunder for Russ, that gives the Thunder some more building space. They're going to have like 7 first-round picks, some young shooters. I don't know. It could be a win-win for both, but I'd be ecstatic. I'd get a Russell Westbrook jersey in the Timberwolves immediately. But I don't know. We'll see. So we'll try to keep up with that as we can. But it's been a crazy, as the NBA preseason ended, I mean, it was unbelievable.
NFL
how
doesn't
exciting
get
it
like
was.
that at all.
No, it's. I mean, it was a pretty crazy one for the NFL though. OBJ
Yeah.
leaving, and I mean, there was some things that moved, but
That's
the
true,
NBA
but
man was a
all over.
complete shock. Everything was just insane. It was like a.
That's so
fucking
funny
movie.
because you were like 3 for 3, and then as soon as you
Dude,
said
I was
that,
4 for 4, and then I missed on the next 5.
As soon as you said that,
I was feeling good,
Yeah.
and then just pop, missed everyone after that.
Sorry,
Damn, you kicked me hard.
I'm sorry.
That hurt.
Anyways, go follow us on Instagram. We need to do better at keeping up. That's partly my fault, but
Wow, dude.
But also, what's been easy for me to listen to it and not have to like switch on and off from YouTube is the Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So
100%.
check us out on there. Just type in Serial Talk Podcast.
We pop up. You'll see us up there, and we're looking nice and pretty.
The galaxy behind us.
The galaxy.
And all the cereal in the galaxy. Remember
That's
that?
right.
We talked about that.
Did we really?
Remember we said that'd be our motto, but
Yes.
That's weird.
in all the cereal in the galaxy, this is Mason Farquhar signing off.
Yeah. Love you.
Love
Bye,
you guys.
guys.
See ya.
Bye.